Joel Embiid is a rare breed in today's NBA. He's a throwback player to a time when big, hulking centers dominated the league from the inside. He's made back-to-back All-NBA teams and was just a few unfortunate bounces away from possibly making the Eastern Conference Finals last season. But as the league moves away from the post-game and more towards perimeter play, the question is, can a team built around a back-to-the-basket center like Joel Embiid still win it all? Hey, what's up guys? Colin here. In a previous video, I talked about why trading Embiid isn't the craziest idea for Philly, largely because of his inability to mesh with fellow All-Star Ben Simmons. If you haven't seen that video yet, do click the link in the description below. It provides a lot of context for what you're about to see. And before I continue on with this video, I just want to give a big thank you to everyone here on YouTube. I just hit 150 subscribers, and while that doesn't seem like a high number, it really does mean a lot for someone who's been on this platform for just about a month. To the new viewers, if you do like the NBA analysis and prediction videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel by hitting the red button down below. Just weeks before the league shut off, there were already some rumblings about a potential Embiid trade down the line. ESPN's Brian Windhorst was interviewed on the Hoop Collective podcast after the trade deadline, and he was quoted saying, "One of the conversations people are starting to have in the league is, will they move Embiid? What's the price? Where would he go?" While an Embiid trade is not imminent as of yet, if things don't get better for the Sixers eventually, Sixers GM Elton Brand might start picking up his phone for offers to check the market on his two stars, and like I said in the last video, I think Embiid may be the player to let go here. In this video, I'll be exploring the kind of haul the Sixers could possibly get for their all-star big man. So let's explore the possible deals out there for a center of Joel Embiid's caliber. The Philadelphia 76ers trade Joel Embiid and Mike Scott to the Washington Wizards for Bradley Beal, Thomas Bryant, Troy Brown Jr., and a top 5 protected 2021 first round pick. I want to start by saying that I've been a Washington Wizards fan for my entire life, and it will be extremely hard to let go of someone as good as Bradley Beal. But that being said, this move will likely be on the table for both teams after maybe one more run at the postseason. The Wizards have John Wall coming back from his Achilles injury, and Bradley Beal, on the other hand, just signed his extension this past season. They could give it one more go before making any changes, especially out of respect to Beal and his loyalty to the team. On the other hand, Philly might want to run it back one more time as well, but the Sixers' performance this season didn't really instill much confidence that the results would be different versus prior years. If things don't go well for either team, this trade could really be an amazing one for both sides. Bradley Beal is exactly what the Sixers need. He is a proven three-point shooter at a career 38% from distance and has thrived in an offense when being set up by a premier passer. But given Wall's recent injury woes, Beal has had to develop into an individual scoring threat. The two-time All-Star currently sits at second in the league in scoring at 30.5 points per game. Despite being the obvious number one option for opposing defenses to game plan against, Beal still scores at an efficient 46% from the field. So Beal can really play perfectly off Ben Simmons, but he can also take over as the primary ball handler when the situation demands it. Thomas Bryant and Troy Brown Jr. would also give the Sixers some fresh young talent and depth that they desperately need. As of the 2019-2020 season, Bryant is still signed to a reasonable 3-year deal, while Brown is just on the second year of his rookie deal. Also, the former is just 22 years old, while the latter is a former 15th overall pick and is still just 20 years old, which is younger than most rookies. Both of them can definitely be developed into valuable rotation players for the Sixers. Philly might also ask for Rui Hachimura in any potential deal for Embiid. Although that becomes a steep price to pay for the Wizards, you're definitely not hanging up the phone right away if you're DC GM Tommy Shepard. Because for the Wizards, if you get a chance to acquire a player of Embiid's caliber, you might just have to take it. With all due respect to Gilbert Arenas and of course John Wall, Joel Embiid could be the best player to play for the Wizards/Bullets franchise since it won the championship in 1978. The team has been on the wrong end of deals involving young star big men in the past, so this could be their chance to take back some of that bad karma. Together with Wall, Bertans, and potentially Rui Hachimura, the Wizards could definitely see themselves competing for a spot at the top of the Eastern Conference with Joel Embiid. The Philadelphia 76ers trade Joel Embiid, Mike Scott, Zaire Smith, and Shake Milton to the Portland Trail Blazers for CJ McCollum, Anthony Simons, Zach Collins, Yusuf Nurkic, and a top 5 protected 2021 first-round pick. Portland Trail Blazers star Damian Lillard is having arguably the best season of his career. He's averaging a career-high 29 points and 8 assists per game, and he's doing this while also having his most efficient scoring season yet, with career highs in both field goal and three-point percentage. But despite all of this, the Blazers have gone from making the Western Conference Finals last season to most likely falling out of the playoff picture entirely this year. After 7 productive yet middling years with the Lillard-McCollum tandem, the Blazers have just one Western Conference Finals appearance to show for it, and in that one appearance, they were swept. Portland needs to try something different and go all in on their franchise player while they still can. However, like the Wizards, their flexibility is limited because of their star point guard being signed to a supermax deal. And just like the Wizards, pairing Embiid with their star point guard might just be what they need to give the top of their conference a run for their money. The Sixers, meanwhile, would add a proven 20-point per game scorer that could reach a whole nother level playing alongside a talent like Simmons. Instead of taking turns running the offense like he and Dame used to do in Portland, CJ and Ben could create a dynamic inside-out game and learn to play off each other's strengths. McCollum is very much like Bradley Beal and is a career 40% three-point shooter who is more than capable of taking over games offensively, as he showed in his Game 7 performance to propel the Blazers over the Nuggets in last year's playoffs. Like what I mentioned in the previous video, which again you can find in the description, Ben Simmons is the league's top 3-point assist man and can find CJ for easy looks from the perimeter. Simmons is also a much better defender than Lillard, so he can cover CJ's deficiencies on that side of the floor by matching up with a tougher defensive assignment every night. Included in this deal are Anthony Simons and Zach Collins, who have both shown flashes of being productive players in the near future. Simons is just 20 years old, but already has an advanced scoring game that makes you believe he can become a Lou Williams-type scorer off the bench. The 22-year-old Colin, on the other hand, is a modern big man who is mobile, can block shots, and also step outside and drain it from 3. The Blazers also threw in Nurkic in this deal because of his redundancy with Embiid, but the Sixers can still then flip Nurkic for another complementary piece. Despite coming off a leg injury, Nurkic is still just 25 years old, on a team-friendly deal, and could fetch another floor spacer or shot creator for the Sixers on a similar size deal. Anyone thinking of a JJ Redick reunion in Philly? The Philadelphia 76ers trade Joel Embiid and Mike Scott to the Brooklyn Nets for Spencer Dinwiddie, Caris LeVert, Jared Allen, Taurean Prince, and an unprotected 2022 first-round pick. The first 2 trades I mentioned had a very similar formula: an elite wing scorer plus young role players and a draft pick. With this trade, the Sixers get a shot in the arm of young and talented but already established players. Spencer Dinwiddie has been a borderline all-star this year in the absence of Kyrie Irving, averaging 20 points and 8 assists per game. Caris LeVert had shown signs of stardom early last year before being derailed by a serious ankle injury 14 games into the season. He's still averaging 18, 4, and 4 this year and still has room to develop into a complementary star since he is still just 25 years old. Jared Allen is still only 22 years old on his rookie contract and can be groomed as the center of the future, while Al Horford continues to start for the Sixers. Overall, the deal gives Philadelphia multiple perimeter creators for Ben Simmons to target with his passing, and driving lanes would open up like never before. Their new additions would join a team that already includes Tobias Harris and Josh Richardson, and they would convert the Sixers from one of the shallowest to one of the deepest teams in the league. The Sixers coaching staff can then mix and match the lineup combinations depending on the situation and keep scorers on the floor at all times. A closing lineup with those players plus Ben Simmons at the small ball 5 could be devastating. It was actually in Game 3 of last year's first round playoff matchup against these Nets where Ben had the best playoff game of his career. Embiid was out with a knee injury, and Simmons closed the game at center, scoring 31 points on 11 of 13 from the field with 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 2 steals in a blowout win. This trade, as well as the first 2 trades for that matter, would allow the Sixers fans to catch that lightning in a bottle every night and see what Ben Simmons can really do with a team built around him. For the Nets, this might just be a no-brainer. If you get a chance to pair KD and Kyrie Irving with Joel Embiid, you really just gotta do it. Even if you have to trade a lot more pieces than what I had already mentioned. Sixers can basically just ask Nets GM Sean Marks for a blank check and maybe just add in a couple of more picks.
You don't have to raise your voice.
You pay you!
I can give you half.
You pay!
Because the resulting super team this would create would be more than worth it in the end for Brooklyn. Those are my 3 trade options for Joel Embiid. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have a better Embiid trade in mind, do comment that down below as well. Please do like and subscribe. It really does mean a lot for me and the future content that I'm making, and I'll see you guys in the next video.